Hello again. This is just going to be a small update, basically on the, trying to remember what station we're at now, the Goitre to Abermule Forest. I've added a lot more trees, deciduous and coniferous again. I did have this before, but for some reason it didn't save itself, hence why it wasn't in the last video. I have also repositioned the Goitre brickworks, not very far from where it was. I've just moved it about 10 or so meters to the right from where it was. Basically it was much too close to the mule stream, so I just need to redo this again. Very annoying. Where is it? Options, HUD minimal. Nope, not minimal. There we go, that's the one. So I'll just go back into the world update for you quickly. Sorry, the world view, or whichever it is, the panoramic view. I've still no idea what the actual terms for these are. So yes, basically we have a lot more here than what we did, considering how small Goitre actually is. This is where Goitre Brickworks will probably be permanently placed now. I don't think I'm going to move it again. As you can see, it's got a nice stone wall topped with some steel post and wire fence going around it. I can't quite remember what pack this is from, but yeah, this is Goitre Brickworks. I'm not sure how many buildings there was here altogether, but that's where they're positioned now anyway. I've also added the road joining up to the bridge, as you can see there. There is a small gap there that I will correct that in the next update, but I probably won't show that because it's so small. So yeah, you've also got the other rail crossing, which I believe once the bricks were produced, they would have come down this road here, and there probably would have been another small road conjoining onto this, and this is how they'd get the bricks into the brick trucks, as far as I know. Not quite sure if it was done from here, because how close it is to the points. These sleepers probably weren't here either, but I thought it gives a much nicer rail crossing. So yeah, I'm not sure whether they would have loaded them in this area or it would have been further up, which would make more sense. If that is the case, I'll probably have to move this smaller building. This one's just here for a bit of a space filler, so I'll probably move that to the other side of this pine, somewhere around this area. Then I'll have another road sort of joining into that, and a small, I'll probably use the abandoned style platform there. It probably wasn't there, I'm not sure how they loaded it. They probably had a small crane of some description, a little winch, steam powered crane. We also now have what I found again on the Coffline website, Cofflayan, which is called, I think it was Mill, or just don't get my bearings, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was either the Mill House or the Weir House, but I don't have any weirs, unfortunately, that I can add on to here, and they'd probably look quite odd, because you'd have to have then the river quite high on one side and low on the other, so I'm probably just going to keep that like that. But yeah, that's the Weir House, roughly where it's positioned. We've also got the roads reconnected back up into Abermule. You wouldn't really see that now from how much forest there is. The locomotive we're using is a 040 saddle tank. I think this is from the Isle of Wight pack. This building here, I've put that there as a sort of workers' cottage. So obviously you're making your bricks, and if you're quite a distance away from your actual home on your shift, you'd come back down here and bunk up in this building. It's a nice little aesthetic touch. So yeah, basically, yeah, as I said, we've got the over-row salt tank engine, two four-wheeled XLMS carriages, I believe these are. They look the closest to what originally was on the line. The three original engines on this line when it opened were, I can't remember the train numbers, you'll have to forgive me, Prometheus, I've forgot the other two now. Yeah, well, Prometheus was one of them, which is quite a big name in magical standards. I think it's associated with magic or something, I'm not quite sure. So yeah, we've got the two XLMS four-wheel carriages, two standard stone trucks or coal trucks, a Great Western box van, and also the Great Western towed brake van. So I'll show you the update on the Forest. You can see some of it already here. There's been a lot of building up. I've basically done this in the last, I think it's took 2.5, 3 hours at most to do this. Also these nice looking, I think these are a type of heather. I'm not 100% on that, but it looks quite pleasing to me. So we'll get back to the train. Just make sure the brake is off. So yeah, basically now all this forestry is here, you can't really see the road much. I know the road between Abermule and Kerry was quite a bit higher up than the rail itself, because the high amount of times that I've travelled along it with my uncle, you're basically looking down at the railway. I don't think it's as high as I've got it up, but you can't really see it anyway. But yeah, this is basically what I've been doing the past few hours. This engine is the closest I can get to what the original ones were. The original 3 engines were built, I think, in the 1850s or 60s, so they were proper, you know, Victorian style engines. They didn't have this type of connection on not the buffers, the piece that connects the wheels together. I've forgot what it's called, my mind's a bit all over the place in seconds. But yeah, instead of a second piece of metal on the wheels going to the cylinder, it was basically, I think they were inside cylinder engines, and it was basically one straight, is it conrods? Could be conrods, I could be wrong though. One straight conrod bar between the wheels, and that's all there was. And obviously the power would have come from the undercenter of the locomotive itself. But this is the closest, and it quite nicely matches the carriages as well. So we are now approaching Von Vrief station, where it's been repositioned. There's now a nice stone bridge over it. Just slowing down as we come through. We won't stop, we'll just slow down a bit. So yeah, you can see the bridge now. That would join up onto the Abermule Road, and it probably would have come down here, like you could see. It's yeah. So yeah, as you can see, you can't really see the Abermule Road as much as you used to be able to, but that's pretty much how it is. It is heavily engulfed in trees on both sides, as I said in the last video. Yeah, this is taking 2.5 to 3 hours to add all this foliage. I think the only things I'm going to add in the forested areas now are small hedges. Not sure which type I'm going to use, and I'm probably going to add some small hawthorn bushes because they grow pretty much anywhere. Pardon me. Yeah. So yeah, hawthorn bushes and probably just some other small foliage as well. Just slow it down a bit again. Yeah, I've also added sort of brick block supports. They probably weren't here in real life, but they look quite effective to me. And I've done that for all, I think it's 4, maybe 5 bridges along here. They were all, in the early days, wooden trestle. Probably when the Great Western taken over, they were probably either completely stone bridges or they were steel girder. Again, I'm not sure, there isn't really much information on upgrades to the railway itself, which is a shame really, because I am trying really hard to get this as close to the real thing as possible. Yeah, it's quite magnificent, the locomotive, isn't it, really? I'm not sure when this locomotive was actually brought onto the TS2019 game, although I believe it's been here since 2016. But yeah, a lot of these trees may not have been here in this area leading close to Abermule. I've got them there basically going from Google Maps. The portion of the line we're travelling on along now is sadly a farmer's trackway for moving livestock and machinery back and forth. There really isn't much evidence to ever suggest that there was a line ever here, which is sad really. Also the bridge just after Von Vrijf, the wooden trestle bridge, that basically is uncrossable now. Going back about maybe 5-6 years, I walked what I could, what wasn't on private property. I walked quite a lot of it. That bridge was still usable then. Sadly now it's got some workman fences around it. That's basically the state of disrepair that it's in. And we're in Abermule again. Again, there isn't really much change to Abermule. I haven't worked on it for a while because I've been working more or less on the Abermule and Goitre forest area. I'll probably, before I add any more stations along this line, I'm probably, going to really start working on the Abermule to Newtown area. Newtown is not far off finished, really. Also, from the last video I said there was the Abermule pub. It wasn't in this Victorian wood style, but I thought it looked a lot nicer to give it that old age look. So yeah, this is basically how far I've come. The video is a bit longer than what I was expecting. Didn't think it would take that long for this little subtle tank engine to get from Goitre stations are here. It's usually without stopping I could probably get here in about 10-15 minutes, but yeah, it took a bit longer, but never mind. Anyway, that's the end of this video. There will be, obviously there's still a lot more to come. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.